Here we go. Welcome back to episode 21, everybody. Awesome, man. With your host, Brantt Myhres, and the sober recovery podcast called UnHammered. How many of you awesome men and women stayed unhammered for the last 7 days? I have. And if you have your tea, coffee, root beer, Coke, not cocaine, Coca-Cola. Hey, man, let's all give each other a cheers for another week. A day, month, or year. Awesome. Congrats. Oh boy. Well, I can taste that a little better, but still just fucking stressed out, man. So anyways, I told you guys about my tooth, and last night at around 2 a.m. I woke up and she was pounding. So I had the work done 2 weeks ago, and we thought that a crown was going to do it, but it's not. I'm trying to convince myself that it's not hurting. And it is. It woke me up at 2 o'clock. I had all this anxiety and stress, and I didn't know if I should go to the ER. So anyways, I guess I've got two options. One is a root canal, and two is they Yankee Doodle it. They fucking pull this thing. And I'm probably on the latter, on the pulling it and just get it done. And it's funny, hey, none of them require, not require, but there's no pain, like you're frozen, right? It's just all up here in the cooker, as they say, that for some reason I just got those bad thoughts running through my brain. But that's okay. I'll get through it. Like I've gotten through some pretty horrendous moments in my life, and it's just a tooth, so it's all good. But hey, everyone, hope you had an awesome week, and I'd love to start out with a little prayer for the day for you guys. Let's get a little prayer going here. And what is it here? What do we got today, everyone? Okay, prayer for the day. I pray that I may be truly humble and yet have self-respect. I pray that I may see the good in myself as well as the bad. I pray that I may be truly humble and yet have self-respect. So that's not getting walked on. That's you're not a carpet for anybody. You're not a doormat. Sometimes it's tough to know the difference there, right? And then I pray that I may see the good in myself as well as the bad. Yeah, those character defects, those flaws that we all have, that we carry around, that we try to improve on. And isn't it truly about progress, not perfection, everybody? I know it is for me. Definitely progress. But anyways, hey, remember last week I was going to share the story with you guys about the Gretzky hockey stick and how that came about. So we were playing the New York Rangers. I was with the Sharks and had probably my favorite game ever in the league, and second star of the game. And I asked my buddy Kevin Stevens to get Wayne Gretzky's hockey stick. And it was sort of surreal when he said yes. So he comes back, and Wayne signed it 1999. And, so let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to the addiction really kicking in. And it would have been in 2006. And I was broke. I had no money. And but what I did have is I had a cell phone bill that needed to be paid, and it was $160. And the only thing that I had of any worth in my life was a signed Wayne Gretzky hockey stick that was given to me. And I looked at that stick, and inside I was dying, but I needed to pay some bills, So I phoned a friend, and I said, "Hey man, here's the deal." I said, "If I sell you the stick for $500, I said, will you, promise me to do one thing?" And he's like, "What's that?" And I said that if I can build my life up financially, if I can get back on my feet again, will you please sell me the Gretzky stick back for the same price? And he said, "Absolutely, I will." So I sold the stick, and I got $500 in my account, and I paid the cell phone bill, and probably needed to pay the cell phone bill to call the Coke dealer. That's what it was. Anyways, fast forward, and it's about 2010, and I'm 2 years or 2.5 years into my sobriety, and I rebuilt my life. I got sober and I rebuilt my life, and I started to make some money, and I started to bank some money. And then guess who the first phone call I made to was? It was to that guy, and it was to get my my Wayne Gretzky hockey stick back. So I phoned him and I said, "Hey man," I go, "it's me. It's been a few years." Hey, he goes, "Yeah. Didn't know if you're going to call." I said, "No, I didn't either." I said, "But here I am." And I said, "I got your 500 for you." I said, "I'd like the stick back." And he goes, "Congratulations, Brantt, on rebuilding everything, and I'll be over in an hour." So he came over and brought me the Wayne Gretzky hockey stick back. Talk about staying the course and not giving up, you know. And I look at that stick often. I look at that stick, and that stick resembles never giving up, you know, and striving towards something. And we all have to, have something to strive towards. And getting that stick back from that friend and seeing it in my closet every day, it's a nice little reminder. It's a nice reminder on sobriety and recovery and what you can do, and you can rebuild your life back. You can. You just got to give it a shot. And I gave it a shot. So that was the Gretzky story on the stick. I still have it. And I love that thing. It's my prized possession. And speaking of hockey, I actually wanted to talk about an old coach of mine named Daryl Sutter. And Daryl Sutter was an amazing man, and he was an amazing coach. And in San Jose, he treated me like somebody, was part of his family. And it was training camp, and I was sitting by myself in the stands watching practice. And all of a sudden, Daryl comes up and he says, "Hey, can I sit next to you?" I said, "Sure, Daryl." Now I'm expecting him to talk about hockey and kind of shape I'm in. And no, he didn't talk about hockey once. He talked about me. He talked about Brantt. He talked about Brantt, the human being, and how was I doing? Because he shared a couple stories of his with his one or two family members that at one point had an issue with alcoholism, and I just thought it was cool. We sat there for probably 45 minutes and talked about my life, and I never ever forgot that talk. And he meant a lot to me. He was a great guy, and he'd always hand me these nuggets, and whenever I was in stage 2, 3, or 4, or whatever stage I was in, he'd be like, "Hey, if you can get back reinstated, I've got a contract waiting for you." And I got to tell you, you need people to believe in you along this journey, everyone. You just do. And he believed in me, and he gave me the motivation to keep going and try and keep pushing and, doing whatever it took to get reinstated back into the league. And so he's a Hall of Famer, right? Daryl's a Hall of Famer. And he's loved by so many in the National Hockey League and outside of those circles. Speaking of the stages, what do we got here? We got a couple questions. Put the glasses on for you guys that are watching. Okay. This guy said, what did he say? Hi Brantt, I'm a former hockey guy, also in recovery. I'm a proud NA Narcotics Anonymous member who has attended some AA meetings early in recovery. I found that NA works best for me. Booze, drug, gambling are some of my major addictions. What made you decide on AA versus NA? ? Well, every time I drank, I did blow. It's pretty simple. It's like with one came the other, and I didn't really distinguish the two. It's a chemical is a chemical is a chemical, right? And for me, it was. I think they both have the same step one, don't they? Admitted your life was unmanageable, and I could admit to all of that, all the steps. But step one, I think NA and AA share the same structure. So for me, it's just like, my right hand and my left hand. I don't really distinguish the two. I think they're both amazing. I've done both. I do both. And I consider myself a drug addict and an alcoholic. How's that? Okay. What's the next one here? Let's put on the glasses again. Okay. Hey, Brantt, can you talk about getting suspended for life from the National Hockey League? Okay. Well, that what was that about? That was about a lot of failed cocaine tests. It was a crazy journey. I never had ambitions of a child waking up going, geez, I'm hoping that one day I can be the only player suspended for life from the NHL, but it happened. And how it worked back then was, so stage one was you went into treatment and you were there for 90 days and you got paid. You got paid your cash when you went into treatment the first time. And then the second time was 90 days, but they didn't pay you that time. No money that time. So that's 90 days for stage two. Stage three is 6 months suspension from the NHL, and you still didn't get paid. No cash on that one either. And then in stage three, you also have to write a letter to Gary Bettman, the commissioner, and ask him to please let you back in. So I did that, and then stage four was another dirty cocaine test, and that one was a little bit longer. That was over a year, and nope, they didn't pay on that either. So I didn't get paid on that one either. And I had to write a letter to Mr. Bettman to get reinstated for stage four. And I believe I was one of the only players to make it back after that. But you know what's wild about all those stages is that I think it was in stage three that my addiction had me so hard that as I was writing that reinstatement letter to Gary Bettman, I was drinking a case of beer. And I was dying inside. And you want to talk about the insanity. There you are, writing a letter asking please to let me back into the National Hockey League. I've changed so much, and you're drinking a case of beer. And you want to talk about insanity? Well, there it was, right in front of you. And not one of my prouder moments in hockey, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so those are all the stages. And then there is no stage five. You're out of balls, as they say. There's no more strikes, Brantt. But for an alcoholic or an addict, when I asked them at the start, I said, hey guys, I go, what's all these stages about? And they go, well, there's four of them. And I go, really? I go, there's four? And they go, yeah. And I go, well, okay, we got 4 to go. I'm going to use up every one of them. And I did. So I used up 4. And that's what it was like for me back then. What else was I going to mention? Okay, here we go. Somebody wrote in, how has your mental state improved since getting sober? I think that the mental part of it is there's no more fog. There's no more fog for me. If I fuck up, I own it. I just own it, and I try and make amends right away. I don't like sitting in it. So the fog is gone. The anxiety is different. It's not about hurting people anymore or hurting myself that way. It's just about life and stuff that happens in your life. It's that simple. What else? Mental state. Sleep better, wake up feeling good. My mental state has definitely improved. Has it improved for you guys in your recovery? Let me know about that, please. And what else do we got here? Hey, Brantt, what's one thing you wish more people understood about addiction and recovery? Well, that it's a disease. And it's a disease that tells you don't have it, so it's tough. It's a tough one. But I wish more people understood that this isn't a willpower issue that we're dealing with here. And you have to treat it very serious. And if you don't take your medicine on a daily basis, you're going to die. Plain and simple. End of story. You will die. It'll get you. It gets hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people a year. It kills them. And young, old, doesn't matter what color your skin is, you're getting it. And so for me, I found out what the medicine was when I started to take direction. And when I took direction and found out that there were certain things that were in my medicine cabinet that I could take to keep me alive, I did it. And I'm still alive. I'm 50, still alive. I'm still here. So I wish people would understand a little bit more that it is a disease, and this has nothing to do with strength or willpower. And then hopefully they can treat it that way. And the stigma of alcoholism or drug addict, is I think slowly starting to change. I believe it is from when I grew up, for sure. Okay, maybe one more sip, everybody. Okay, what else we got here? Let's see, you guys ready? Boom, the old big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. Okay. You guys remember where we left off last time? We're starting a new chapter, everybody, and it's called We Agnostics. Here we go. In the preceding chapters, you have learned something of alcoholism and drug addiction. We hope we have made clear the distinction between the alcoholic and drug addict and the non-alcoholic or non-addict. If, when you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if when drinking or doing drugs you have little control over the amount you take, you are probably an alcoholic or a drug addict. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. Interesting. They don't give you a lot of outs here, do they, guys? All right, here we go. I know I read that last week. It's a segment. To one who feels he is an atheist or agnostic, such an experience seems impossible. But to continue as he or she is means disaster. What? Disaster? That sounds bad, especially if he is an alcoholic or a drug addict of the hopeless variety. They're using hopeless in here, okay? To be doomed to an alcoholic or drug addict death or to live on a spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. But it isn't so difficult. About half of our original fellowship were exactly that type. At first, some of us tried to avoid the issue, hoping against hope we were not true alcoholics or addicts. Okay? But after a while, we had to face the fact that we must find a spiritual basis of life, or else. Or else. Amen. Yeah, they're using these words again like disaster and or else. I guess they're serious. Okay, keep going. Perhaps it's going to be that way with you. But cheer up. Something like half of us thought we were atheists or agnostics. Our experience shows that you need not to be disconcerted. Okay? If a mere code of morals or a better philosophy of life were sufficient to overcome alcoholism, many of us would have recovered long ago. Me too. But we found that such codes and philosophies did not save us. No. No matter how much we tried, we could not wish to be moral. We could not wish to be philosophically comforted. Sorry if I messed that up. In fact, we could still... In fact, we could will these things with all our might, but the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, as marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed utterly. Okay, they failed. Lack of power. That was our dilemma. We had to find a power which we could live. And it had to be they capitalize this or something. You guys get ready. Here we go. And it had to be a power greater than ourselves. Okay. Obviously, period. But where and how are we to find this power? Question mark. Well, that's exactly what this book is all about. Its main objective is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem. That means we have written a book which we believe to be spiritual as well as moral. And it means, of course, that we are going to talk about God. Okay? Here, difficulty arises with agnostics. Many times we talk to a new man and watch his hope rise as we discuss his alcoholic problems and explain our fellowship. But his face falls when we speak of spiritual matters, especially when we mention God. For we have reopened a subject which our man thought had neatly evaded or entirely ignored. Okay, we'll just read a little bit more here, guys. We know how he or she feels. We have shared his honest doubt and prejudice. Some of us have been violently anti-religious. To others, the word God, brought up a particular idea of him which someone had tried to impress them during childhood. Perhaps we rejected this particular conception because it seemed inadequate. With that rejection, we imagined we had abandoned the God idea entirely. We were bothered with the thought that faith and dependence upon a power beyond ourselves was somewhat weak, even cowardly. We looked upon this world of warning individuals, warning theological systems, and incapable calamity with deep skepticism. We looked askance at many individuals who claim to be godly. Okay, and we'll end it with this. How could a supreme being have anything to do with it at all? ? And who could comprehend a supreme being anyhow? ? Yet in other moments we found ourselves thinking, when enchanted by a starlight night, who then made all this? ? There was a feeling of awe and wonder, but it was fleeting and soon lost. Yes, I can understand that. Again, I didn't struggle too hard, you guys, with believing in God. And then when I got to the program, that concept of a power greater than myself, I proved it to myself. I was a pretty, I just broke in individual that couldn't steer the ship, and I didn't have any power anymore. The power was taken from me, and I had to turn it over. And so for me, it hasn't been a problem. But for any of you that it has, just hang on, give it a chance. You don't have to believe in God today or a power greater than yourself tomorrow, but keep an open mind. How's that? Can you guys keep an open mind if you're struggling? I know I try to. All right. What's another question here we got? What's this one? Okay. Here we go. Hey, Brantt. What's a piece of advice or wisdom that you've learned in recovery that you live by? I don't know how wise I am. I don't. Advice? Tell the truth. Tell the truth about everything, you guys. Don't lie about anything in your life. That's the first honest step to recovery. I have a friend that reached out to me a few days ago and said that he was going to try and put the bottle down. He was drinking every day, and I'm all for it, obviously. I just said, be honest with me, buddy. Be honest with me about how you're doing. He said, I will. So he made it a day, and then the next day he drank again, and he told me the next morning that he didn't make it. And I said, no problem, buddy. I said, put your foot in the saddle and get back up on the horse. It's all good, I'm not here to judge you. I just want you to be honest. And I think you guys that if you can, just stop lying and tell, your therapist, your sponsor, everybody, the honest truth about how you're doing, if you've relapsed, why you relapsed, etc. Then there's nothing to hide, and there's nothing to have that guilt and shame, because there's nothing worse than the guilt and shame that we all deal with. Well, at least I have anyways. So wisdom and what I've learned, I've just learned to tell the truth no matter what. No matter if I'm going to hurt some feelings, because I knew it was imperative. It was imperative that I did that. So there's my little bit of wisdom. Oh, and you know what? How about this too? It's a cliche, but treat people the way that you would want to be treated, right? Do you want people talking behind your back or talking badly of you, or, gossip's a bad one today. It's just bad. Gossip's bad. So I try to treat people the way that I would expect to be treated, because if I don't, then I'm a hypocrite, and hypocrites are all over the place, and I didn't want to be one anymore. I was tired of being a hypocrite. Okay. What are some of your daily habits or routines that keep you grounded in recovery? Daily habits. Well, I get on my knees and I pray in the morning, and I thank my God for waking up sober, and the gifts in my life. I don't say where's mine. I say thank you, and that seems to start my day out pretty good. And then also I pray at night too. I don't miss. I do it 2 times. And when I retire at night, I say thanks. And so I'm trying to stay with my prayers. I don't ask for anything other than strength. I say, please give me the strength, Lord. And because there's some days I don't feel strong. There's some days that I feel weak, and I just don't feel, I feel like I need some support, and I just say, don't let go of my hand. Don't let go of my hand. And I do that. So that is something that I do for a daily routine. What else? I try to reach out to somebody that's sober. And since this podcast has started, I've responded to every message, every email, every message. And I've tried to lend some experience, strength, and hope through that. So yeah, as far as routines, what else? Sleeping, as I've mentioned, I think that, going to bed at a decent hour and not staying up too late for me has been a big one. I'm usually out cold by no later than what, Brantt? 11:30 maybe? Something like that. So yeah, I do that. And the gym, I've been so friggin' stressed, so like I mentioned, I haven't worked out in a little while, and I'm feeling it, but that's okay. I've stayed unhammered, and that's all that matters, right? I mean, like, even if, no matter what's happening around you, just stay unhammered, and you're giving yourself a shot. You're giving yourself a shot at this thing. So cool, guys. We're on week 21. It's awesome. What else? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to read on the way out. We're going to read the promises. What do you guys think about that? Let's see. We got the recorder still going perfect. Battery operated. Yeah. Why don't we read the promises, everybody? Did you guys have you read them, and what do you think of them? I remember early on when they would read them, I'm like, oh, that sort of sounds cool. Like I want some of that. I want some of those promises, and we'll read them. But have you guys have they been instrumental in your recovery when you read them from the big book? Let's get into it. Let's get into this. Okay, what page are we at here, everybody? I think it's 83. Is it 83? Yep. Yeah. 83. Okay, here we go. All right. If the promises. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. That one was a big one for me. Peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? ? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. This is the last sentence. It's cool. They will always materialize if we work for them. Yeah, they will. And I can attest to it. And I can attest to the promises coming true. I can attest to a lot of it. I am proud. I'm proud of the father that I've turned out to be. I'm not perfect. I'm proud of the friend that I've turned out to be. I'm not perfect, but I'm proud of it. I am. I'm proud that when I say I'm going to do something, I do it, like this podcast. And, I said as long as if I'm helping one person on the other end of the line today, it's all worth it for me, Brantt. It's not about money. It really isn't. And it's just material stuff, right? Comes and goes. But I think if I can help change the course of somebody's life, maybe for a day, man, it's worth it. It's worth it. UnHammered is worth it for me. And I got to remind myself that, that this isn't about Brantt Myhres. This is about everybody else that's listening. And if I do that and keep that frame of mind, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be okay, right? And you guys are going to be okay, aren't you? Yes. So, everyone, did we cheers? Yeah, we did. Sorry. Maybe we'll cheers on the way out. So you guys stay accountable to each other, which is great. And have a wonderful 7 days. Have a wonderful 7 days. If you fall off the wagon, no problem. You get back on it. Hold on a sec. You get back on that horse, man, like my buddy did. And you come back for week 22. And I'll keep you updated on the old Yankee Doodle on the tooth if I got to get her done. And what else? Yeah, man. So anyways, you guys have an awesome week, and let's all stay on hammer together. Thanks.